And I'm Vanessa Walilko.
And Vanessa is actually a chainmail jewelry and a fashion designer.
Yes.
How spectacular.
Thank you. I think so.
I do too. I'm going to put here a shot of like some of her cool jewelry and her stuff that's around the apartment. Get into chainmail jewelry making? That is so unique.
Yeah, okay, so it's really interesting. I've been making jewelry since I was 8, but did all kinds of other random stuff like beadwork. And I was taking classes at Lil Street Art Center, and I was taking traditional metalsmithing classes. And I'd done some chainmail before. I'd like done research on like the old internet days, you know, and like saw some really janky instructions and kind of taught myself a little bit. But they offered a 5-week class in chainmail making, and I mostly took it because I wanted access to the open studio so I could finish some of my traditional metalsmithing classes. And
now, can I put you on pause one second?
Yeah, please.
Metalsmithing.
Yes.
This is a thing. This is an art.
Yes.
What are people metalsmithing?
Any traditional jewelry you see, that's metalsmithing. So soldering, stone setting, sawing, filing, like any of that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily just like making, I would assume like, oh, we're making horseshoes, but that's a blacksmith.
That's a blacksmith, yes, yeah.
So,
metalsmith is a finer, daintier kind of work.
Okay,
yeah.
good to know.
Yeah.
All right, you can continue your story.
Okay, sure. So I took this class and it just hit every OCD button in my body because I'm very obsessive compulsive, but I channel it all into my business now. So like linking lots of little rings together, making sure the closures are perfect, like that became my thing. And then at the time I was doing website design and it was fun, but like I said, I've been making jewelry since I was 8. It's the only thing I care about. So I went on Craigslist actually and found a job as a production assistant for a jewelry designer.
Oh, okay.
And then looked up my chainmail instructor and saw that she was looking for production assistants.
Oh.
And then ended up getting another part-time job at this place called FemGems, which was a partner business in Marshalls.
Like that name.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Good marketing there. So I ended up getting 3 part-time jobs in 3 consecutive weeks.
That's
this
impressive.
Before the economy crashed.
Well, I'm sure even if it had crashed, your talents would lend themselves to being hired.
I like to think so. So it was actually really funny because I had been making chainmail for 6 months before I applied to these jobs, and I was working for this one jewelry designer, or applied, and she goes, this job is going to be a lot of repetitive tasks. Do you think you can handle that? And I pulled out this chainmail shrug that I had made, which is out of 15,000 rings, and I said, I do that for fun, so I don't think that's going to be a problem.
Wow. Now, do you work usually like while watching something or listening to something in particular?
Netflix is my best friend.
Okay.
So I powered through most recently all of Miss Fisher's Murder Mysteries.
Oh, my mother loves that.
It's an amazing show. It is wish fulfillment for ladies. It's incredible. I recommend it. And it's good background noise for making chainmail. So it's just entertaining. Yeah.
That's really interesting because I know I used to actually study Chinese, and so I would always do my character work. My character work while watching movies and stuff like that. I think also you do crocheting, right?
I do, yes.
So that's sort of a similar feel to it as well.
It is, yeah. So I also teach chainmail, and I've noticed that the students who do knitting or crochet, they pick up chainmail immediately. It hits again that same repetitive OCD thing, and like they become obsessed with it. Like it's a really good diagnostic, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I tried to pick up knitting way back in probably high school, and it never really worked for me because I guess I never got past that stage where you're learning and you're a perfectionist and you can't quite be perfection yet. So
that's exactly it.
That was my barrier to entry, and I can't get past it.
Were you high achieving when you were younger?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, of course. I'm not surprised. Yeah, there's this interesting article I read that talks about how like women who are high achieving when they were younger, they associate with their self-esteem, like their ability to be perfect at something right away.
Oh, yeah.
So when you're not, it's like, well, there's something wrong with me. Well, forget this then. I'm not doing this anymore.
It's exactly
Yeah.
nail on the head right there.
Yeah.
Are there recommendations for how to handle that and how to get past
Therapy
it?
worked for me.
So there you are. You're doing your production assistant jobs. You're working 3 of them at once.
Yes.
So what was the next step after that? Did you then open up your own shop from there, or what happened?
Yeah, so I've been working for about 2.5 years for each of those designers, and like a really great time, and also was really useful because it was like a personalized MBA. So I knew from that how to apply to art fairs, which art fairs to apply to, how to maintain an online store, like how to make connections in brick and mortar stores. And I knew that jewelry was the only thing that I wanted to do, but I wasn't sure like when I should make that next step.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in a Polish immigrant family, and it's like the Germans are coming any second, so you just put your head down, work really hard, keep a backpack.
The Germans are coming any second. I heard an interesting NPR interview with, what's her face, Donna Karen, about how Anne Klein was her mentor figure, and like how, she was working there and they fired her, telling her, okay, now make your own line and we'll partner with you.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, what was your transition like?
I wish I had something more elegant.
No.
So it was interesting. I had a conversation with my grandfather actually before he passed away that kind of catalyzed me doing this as quickly as I did. And so I ended up quitting. I had dropped one of the part-time jobs a couple years before, but the 2 I had kept. I ended up quitting both of those, and all the money I'd had saved up because, as an only child and an only grandchild, you get gifts. And so I had some money in savings and just decided I was going to give myself a year deadline, and I was going to hustle and work as hard as I could in that year. And I, blew through my entire savings. But through that, entered every show, entered every competition, submitted projects to magazines, did whatever I could every day to get my name out there and establish myself. And at the end of it, I made a full-time career out of this. Yeah.
That's amazing.
I still feel like I'm getting away with something wrong. Like, again, the Germans are coming. They're going to take it away.
More like the fun police, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to have fun all the time.
I've talked to a couple of people doing artistic endeavors, especially actors, who are like, when I'm on a good paying gig, sometimes I'm like, oh no, they're going to catch me. They're going to find me having fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's interesting to hear that same sort of thought coming from you.
Of course. But in slow periods, or if things aren't working out, I'm just like, I gotta do the normal thing again. And then eventually, some huge gig will appear, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is why I don't live a normal life, because I want to make chainmail for Broadway. Like I want the time to do that.
You made chainmail for Broadway?
Yeah, I did for Pippin.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they just came through a couple months ago with a touring company, but yeah, I did
so exciting.
all the tunics for them.
Oh, that's so cool. Have you ever worked for any film?
Yeah, so I got subcontract to do some of the chainmail for A Night at the Museum 3. So
What?
Yeah.
That's so freaking awesome.
It was incredible, and it was crazy because the company that was supposed to do all of it, they thought they were going to have 2.5 months, and they have a whole crew, And then I got a call from him. He's like, yeah, the production company, they've moved up the deadline to 2 weeks from now.
Heart attack.
Yeah, exactly. So I ended up grabbing a couple people that I knew and assembled a team. And so we made one set, and I think there were 2 other teams that it got farmed out to. Yeah. So there were 4 tunics, 30,000 rings each. It was, 2 for the actor and then 2 for the stunt double. And we just did the rectangles and the collar, and then send them the rest of the rings, and they assembled it. But I still have my FedEx receipt that says Night at the Museum.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I do the work, and then it's kind of off my radar, which I think is a weird thing to say, but it's true.
No, it makes sense.
But I went to see Guardians of the Galaxy last year, and in the previews, there was a trailer for Night at the Museum. And all of a sudden, I see the flash of the actor's face and the chainmail. And I just went, ah! And I don't remember the first 10 minutes of Guardians of the Galaxy because I had this kind of fugue moment.
Yeah.
Where I didn't know what was going on. Yeah.
That's so great.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh wait, a movie. And then then I watch the movie.
No, but you have to have that moment. Like, you have to appreciate what happened and
Of course.
to have that out there.
It
Yeah.
is, I mean, again, it's surreal for me to think that this is all working out and it continues to work out, and that I can say things like, I've made chainmail for Night at the Museum. I mean, I can't even like get it out of my mouth because I'm like, this is a sentence nobody says.
Yeah.
What life is this, you know?
The best life, your life.
All right, exactly.
What would you like to design for?
I mean, my favorite pieces to work on are custom pieces. I once did a couple armor pieces for a couple that was actually going out to Burning Man, and it was incredible. I mean, I spent 6 weeks only working on these two pieces.
Holy
because
moly.
it was a giant, like it was a long vest made from scales, and then she had a cropped vest, and then they also had bracers.
Wow.
So it was thousands of rings, thousands of scales, and just me.
Thousands of dollars?
Yes. I did several fittings with them, and the last fitting, like, he wanted more of a cap sleeve to the vest, and so I just kind of looked at it and eyeballed it. He goes, "Don't you need to take any measurements?" I'm like, no. Like, that's how I think now. Like, I've been doing this for years.
You can just size somebody up right away.
Yeah, exactly. Or at least even if it's a couple inches, it's like, oh, okay, I know. That's 4 layers of scales down.
Interesting.
Yeah, and when I came back and before they left, and he tried it on for the final time, he tried it and it fit him perfectly. And he just kind of looked at me like I was a witch, and he was just like, "How did you do that? You didn't measure anything."
Yeah.
I'm like, "No, it's just it's how I function. It's how my brain functions."
You're just so used
knowing.
to, and you've handled so much of that it is like, I'm sure, do you look at things and measure everything in terms of chains?
Pretty much, yeah.
Do you also sell your crochet pieces?
I have, I'm selling kits and like instructions for that, because with crochet, I mean, it's my fun projects. Like, my favorite thing to do is to have people over and we'll crochet and we'll knit, and then we'll talk about like global domination plans, and it's just like very soothing.
What else are you into, and what do you participate in or do?
Oh my goodness, it's mostly anything I can do with my hands, I will do.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. But I recently...
Well, I'm happy to hear anything else you're doing with your hands.
Okay, sure. Well, I mean, it's mostly the crochet and the knit work. Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm obsessed with.
Gotcha.
But I also sew. I used to do beadwork. Quilting is the one thing I won't do.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because, and I realized this about myself, like, I can do something thousands of times. Repetition, I have no problem with.
Yeah.
Precision, that I have zero tolerance for it, and that was my issue with metalsmithing. Yeah. It's like, because when you're doing metalsmithing, like say you're making a ring, right? You have to make sure that the sheet metal is hammered down perfectly, and then sanded, and then filed.
I have it, like, when I put the cover on my freaking cell phone, I get a little heart attack, so I can just imagine how hard that is.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Like, I remembered reading some article about this artist who was nailing wax plates to a wall in the cold, and if she was in a bad, I think it was if she was in a bad place, everything would shatter. She had to be in like a good emotional place to not have that tension. Right.
Okay. The tension,
in your hands.
because if you're looser, then okay.
That's exactly it. And I think it's a similar thing with metalsmithing.
So crazy.
If it's not all in place for you mentally, it's just you're gonna have the worst solder day. Like the other artists would talk about, like, the soldering gods are with me. I'm gonna solder everything that I've been holding off on. You know.
Love it.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Now, do you do any sort of performance art?
I've done a couple. So a friend of mine used to run the Chicago Nerd Comedy Festival and do the Hey, I'm a Big Fan events. So I wrote a couple fan fiction pieces that I read, which I like. Like,
what's your canon piece there? What do we?
There were 2. So one was Final Fantasy VII, because I played the hell out of that game many times.
Yes.
Right? I love it.
But yeah, okay. So and then what was the other one that you were doing?
Muppet Babies, and it was
what?
Yeah. So I told a story.
Is that the normal reaction?
Yeah, kind of. That's the reaction I got when I read the piece. I used to take improv classes, mostly just so I would be more free when I was at art fairs. Because if you're talking to hundreds of people, you have to be engaged, listen, not be in a weird little introvert, which is how I grew up, you know.
most of us, I think, who
Right?
are artists.
Especially the high-achieving, smarty girls, like, right? It's like, just give me the books. I don't want to
see
talk
your
to
bookshelf
Yeah.
right over there.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of coveting it. I'm like, oh, it's in her bookshelf.
Look at it afterwards.
I'm gonna have to, yeah.
Please.
What's your favorite types of books and novels and stuff?
Oh my goodness, I probably Tom Robbins is my favorite fiction writer.
Okay.
Skinny Legs and All is probably my favorite novel. I just think he writes a lot of female protagonists, and Skinny Legs and All specifically, it's a woman artist. And
okay.
I've never read another male author who knows what it's like to be a female artist in a world that values neither of those things. I read a lot of biographies, I think for the same reason that I watch a lot of documentaries, like engaging but not something I can put down if I have work to do. My favorite person to read anything about is Lou Andrea Salome. She was this, amazing writer, philosopher, psychoanalyst in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Just brilliant woman, very interesting, clearly did her own thing. Knew Nietzsche, knew Rilke, knew Freud, inspired all of them. And, Freud kind of stole some of her stuff. Her ideas, I know, you heard it here first. Actually, you heard it in
see if I support any of Freud's work anymore.
That's right.
So now, let's plug your stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, so you can find me online at kalibutterfly.com. That's Kali Butterfly. Also, facebook.com/Kali Butterfly. I post all the stuff. Kali Butterfly is mostly my chainmail fashion and jewelry and all of that, but the Facebook page gets all the crochet and the knit work and other random things that I make from time to time. I don't think I've ever posted my performance stuff, but
Maybe someday.
Maybe
that's coming
someday.
Up. Yeah. So thanks for watching the Eisenstein Effect. We've got new episodes every Wednesday. You can check us out on Twitter at Eisenstein EFCT. Also check out my website www.VickieEisenstein.com. We've got more coming up that you'll love. I'm sure of it. Leave a comment down below. Tell us how much you love us. Also check out Vanessa's website, like she told you to. And just give us that like, subscribe, do all these things. Tell your friends. Subscribe to the podcast too. Love it all. Love you. Love, 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 love. I'm having problems with this outro, people. Okay. Thank you for being on my show.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. Let's hug.
Yay.